Welcome to our Meet the Author video with Mark Withers, co-author of the newly published book Transforming HR.
Hi, I'm Mark Withers. I'm Managing Director of Mighty Waters Consulting and also co-author of the book Transforming HR.
Why should HR professionals read books?
Yes, well, HR professionals are busy people, but I think it's as simple as this. If you're going to be credible with your internal clients, you need to bring fresh thinking to the table. So the question is where you're going to get that fresh thinking from. And I think books are a major source of that. Our book is digestible in very bite-sized chunks, and our practitioners, we've tested this, have said they value that they can dip into it, get very practical tools which they can use immediately in their work.
What are the three key benefits of transforming HR for a HR professional?
Well, I see the three benefits are firstly that it's practical. We provide tools and techniques that really work. Secondly, it's going to help HR professionals align the work of HR with business goals. And thirdly, the tools and techniques we give will help HR professionals support change in other bits of the business too.
What are the three key benefits of transforming HR for a HR student?
Well, I'm assuming students are looking at the sort of theoretical underpinning of the profession. So we set out theory and research that will help them to understand HR and effective HR. Secondly, we help them explore options rather than offering a one-size-fits-all. And then thirdly, we look forward and we help people to think about really what the future of HR is going to look like.
What has been changed and updated from the first edition?
Well, quite a bit really. First of all, there's 4 years that have passed since the first edition, so we reflect changes in the HR profession. Secondly, we've updated and added new chapters, so we have now chapters on HR's value proposition, on Web 2, and also around benefits realisation. And thirdly, we have a much broader senior practitioner base that have helped us put the book together.
How does this book complement the HR series from Elsevier, which aims to plug the gap between theory and practice implementation?
This book is about how to shift HR's contribution within organisations, whether it's at the transactional or the strategic level. So we're taking people through transformation from envisioning right through to benefits realisation. Where I see the other books in the series is that they're taking you into specific aspects of HR, like organisational design or partnering skills or learning and development, as specific areas of focus.
Which HR professional do you most admire and why?
Well, I'm not huge on sort of top 100 most influential HR people and so on, but people who have helped shape my thinking. In the UK, Linda Holbeach I have a great respect for, and people like Edgar Schein, William Bridges, John Cotter have all had, I think, quite a big influence on my thinking. But I have to say that the people I most admire are people like my clients, really, who are actually at the sharp end of working in organisations and trying to add value and shape the people agenda.
Can you provide a brief summary of one example that Transforming HR gives?
Yes, I'm going to talk about National Grid and the work I did there developing a capability framework. We first started on that journey 6 or 7 years ago now, and the starting point was thinking what more other than core HR skills do HR professionals need, and we identified strategy and change, the sort of commercial change management skills, consulting skills and project skills. And over the years, we've refreshed that framework, we've come back to it, and we've tested it against the emerging business needs. And I'd say that most of it's held up very well, but we've sort of tweaked the emphasis over time. And in the book, we show how that's been a process of evolution with one particular tool in the organisation.
What do you see as the key people challenges facing organisations today?
Well, a lot of people challenges are constant, I think. You know, how do we keep the right people? How do we get the right people? How do we support the ongoing development of organisational capability? I think what changes is context, and obviously in the last 12 months we've faced a significant recession. So issues around job security, pay, pensions and benefits, all of those sorts of issues have resurfaced. But I also think that for HR, the issues around how we can add value to organisations, how we can keep costs at a minimum and also drive higher productivity and performance. I mean, that's really the nub of what HR functions are asked to consider at the minute.
What's the most important issue that businesses should take into account when trying to change their HR policy, and why?
Well, for me, HR policy needs to hit two criteria only. First of all, it needs to reflect the law of the land, and secondly, it must meet the needs of the business. We can't have HR policy standing outside of those two things.
What impact has the recession had on HR departments?
Well, it's hard to generalise, but talking to my clients, some themes emerge. Well, first of all, HR is under even more pressure to demonstrate value and to answer the question, well, why should we spend money on you rather than on some other part of the organisation? So there's that fundamental question. It challenges HR to be absolutely aligned to the organisation's goals and to demonstrate that what it's doing is going to help the organisation achieve. And I think thirdly, HR functions have less money to spend generally, so they need to do more with less, and they need to build their own internal capability much stronger.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a career in HR?
Well, first of all, go for it. And secondly, don't see it as a career in HR. See it as a career in business or organisational life, if it's public sector, where you develop deep expertise in the area of people and organisation. But so first of all, see it as a broader business or organisational career. And secondly, we need bright people in the profession who are really going to grasp some of the complex, difficult operational roles. So if that's you, then you have a place within the future function.
And finally, are there any other comments or points of interest that you would like to mention?
Yeah, I think two things really. The first is that the book isn't about implementing one model of HR. It's actually around thinking of the business that you're in and developing an HR model that's appropriate to your business. And secondly, I want to remind everyone that HR is not just about the function. There are other players in the HR space through self-service, employees, line managers, and increasingly people outside of the organisation, outsourcers, consultants and so on. And we need to think about HR within that broader context, and we do that in the book too.